Welcome back to the Benchside Podcast. Today will be a shorter episode, but we're going to focus mainly on the Toronto Maple Leafs and what's going to be happening there over these past couple months and what's in store for them in the future. So, Kaden, you want to start us off?
Yeah. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been one of the best hockey teams, making the playoffs almost every single year, like, without question. And I think this is a big struggle for the Toronto Maple Leafs because they're 8 points right now out of a playoff spot. And I think it's a hard thing to see for a lot of Leafs fans, and it's a little bit shocking for me myself. The biggest thing I just want to talk about is why they are struggling. Why are these problems occurring? Like, I know they've had to deal with some injuries. Matthews has maybe not been on his best he could be at, and some of their other players, but just some of the reasons. So the first one I just want to bring up is that they are last in the league in shots against, slot shots, and rush chances. These are critical problems. These are one of the core fundamentals of the game, and I think this is something they definitely need to clean up.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'd have to say, once again, into those stats there, they are second to last in the league in goals against, 3.43. So goaltending has to get better. But as you said, they are also last in the league in shots against. So with the more shots, obviously more pucks will be going in. This team is just at a core is really a gong show right now. Talking not solely with all the play on the ice too, but just antics off the ice. Obviously, we don't know quite what happened, but Craig Berube's head injury, he had a pretty solid gash on his head there from the gym, and then followed it up just a few short days later with William Nylander flipping off a camera. I feel like this runs a lot deeper than just the on the ice play, and something needs to change in Toronto.
I think those are some phenomenal points. You couldn't really have said it better. I think the biggest thing, though, for me is that Toronto Maple Leafs are a lot unlike the Edmonton Oilers. I'm just going to compare them. The Toronto Maple Leafs have almost always had a pretty good goaltender, somebody that can back them up when they make bad defensive errors, because their defense isn't always the best, but their goalie always is there for them. And they've had people like Frederik Andersen, who have been one of those players. Anthony Stolarz was pretty good last season. Joseph Woll's shown some potential. And they've always had... Jack Campbell's another example, sorry. And they've always had somebody that's always been pretty decent for them. And I think just of these guys that have played over 16 games, I'm just going to give you the stats here. Joseph Woll has a 3.01 goals against average, and Dennis Hildeby with a 2.90. That is really, really not good. Conceding 3 goals is not going to win too many games in the National Hockey League, as it is the toughest league, no question. And anything else you want to say, Ron?
Yeah, and just looking forward past this year. I mean, obviously the Toronto fans are always gonna want things to happen this year, but looking forward at future draft prospects and UFAs. The UFAs for this expiring this year are Troy Stecher, Bobby McMahon, and Scott Lawton. And Cal Yarncroke. These players are essential to this team. They may not be the most highest point getters, but they are great depth players, and something needs to happen with these players for them to get any value out of them without letting them walk. So I'm interested to see what happens down the stretch here for players, especially like Bobby McMahon and Scott Lawton. Obviously, Troy Stetcher's getting up there, and he's played a probably a third pairing defenseman role for quite a bit now, but. Bobby McMahon and Scott Lawton are still quite effective players and can play big roles on good contending teams. Yeah, and then talking future draft picks, we're looking at in the next 2 years, the Toronto Maple Leafs do not have a first round pick, and they do not even have a second round pick this coming year. Just some concern in Toronto about what the future is going to be like. They have one rookie playing this year, Easton Cowan, who is doing not too bad based on what we've seen so far, but it will take some time adjusting. Obviously, slipped on the blue line and gave up that goal the other day, but it'll come with experience, and he's still a young kid, so he's still got plenty to grow. But yeah, just some concern with the future and what's going to happen with maybe some depth in Toronto too.
Yeah, I personally really think that the third and fourth lines in the National Hockey League are very, very critical. They win and lose games time and time again in most of these games. And Scott Law and Kelly Yarncrook and some of these players you mentioned, they're pretty good players, but they're not anything bringing back first or second rounders. And I think that's one thing they really need is somebody that is going to be a new rookie for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Somebody that is going to be like the Auston Matthews, William Nylander, a player that's going to change the organization. I don't think they're going to be getting that back for those players. They do have some RFAs though, as well though, which is very not good for them. Matthias Michelli and Nick Robertson are RFAs next season, and I think if they don't sign those guys, they're going to be losing their rookies. So they're not only losing draft picks, they're also losing the rookie talent. And I think that is a huge problem.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Those RFAs and letting those young guys walk, or get traded for less than value, half what they're worth is definitely not worth it. Just going through some stats here. They have one player that is points per game this year. That's William Nylander, who's only played 37 games out of 53, I believe, at 48 points. So William Nylander's been playing fantastic for the time that he's gotten. Past that, not a single player is point per game on this team. And what stood out to me, Oliver Ekman-Larsson is fifth on the team in points at 34 years of age. He's got 44 points in 50 games. It's quite impressive for OEL, but also highlights some underlying problems. Morgan Rielly is one spot below at 30 points OEL has 32 points in 53 games. Morgan Rielly has 30 in 52, and it's really quite shocking. Morgan Rielly is seen as the centerpiece of this Leafs decor, and is getting paid, I believe, $7.5 million per year for the next till 2030, I believe. But yeah, it's really shocking, and it needs to change. Morgan Rielly needs to step up his game, or they need to trade for another top-end defenseman or somebody that can run that blue line there in Toronto.
Yeah, Morgan Rielly. Like, I think they're in the same market as what Darnell Nurse was a couple of years ago. Somebody that is getting paid a little bit more money than they should have. But the reason they're paying that extra money is because he was such a good contract for many years before that they have to overpay him now because the salary cap has increased, and this is having to cause the contract to be more money. I think Morgan Rielly, though, that this is a pivotal problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They have him getting paid $7.5 million till 2030. That is a huge sum of money that they're paying him, and he is really not producing, in my opinion, for somebody of $7.5 million. I do believe the cap is increasing, and this $7.5 million might be a second pairing defenseman or first pairing defenseman, but that is still a critical sum of money in the NHL. One thing I do want to point out is Mitch Marner. He is not on the Toronto Maple Leafs anymore, as most of you guys know, but he would be the top point getter on this team. Mitch Marner right now has currently 12 goals, 40 assists, and 52 points. So, do you think Mitch Marner leaving, like this team hasn't made too many acquisitions or dropped any of their players? Like it's almost the exact same team as last season, other than Mitch Marner leaving. Do you think him leaving was a culture shock? Like, was he a big leader in the dressing room? Like, why has this affected their team so much? Is one of my questions.
Yeah, I obviously that is a great point. Mitch Marner has been slightly almost underwhelming in Vegas, but still obviously putting up fantastic points, which would be top of Toronto as of now. But and even though he may not have been a huge leader in that Toronto dressing room, it's also just breaking up those friendships and those long time relationships between players is a huge loss. Obviously, Matthews and Marner were tight and very productive off of each other. And I also think that they miss a big playmaker and big passer on this Toronto team. They've got guys that can snap. You got Matthews, right? You got guys that can put the puck in the net. You got Nylander. But Marner's gonna go get you a puck, right? You need guys to go into the corner, get you a puck, and you roll to the top of the circle and find a guy, right? And I feel like that's something that everybody needs, and that type of playmaker mentality is really missing from this Toronto team. So yeah, that's what I believe about Mitch Marner.
Yeah, two things I just kind of want to say as I like wrap up here. I'm just gonna compare them again. I'm sorry, to the Edmonton Oilers. I think one thing though the Toronto Maple Leafs has is they have a lot of snipers and a lot of people that are really good at putting the puck in the net. As you see, they have one of the highest points for with 175 goals they've scored this season. Currently at this rate. But they don't have any more like grinders. Like the Oilers right now, they have Zach Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Vasily Podkolzin, and Kasperi Kapanen. Those guys are very good at getting the puck. And Toronto has right now a couple too many of the same guys of this scoring. And when they've lost Mitch Marner, they've lost that person that can go get the puck, that can penalty kill, can do this. An all-around player. And I think the other thing you were just talking about, chemistry with Mitch Marner. Right now, the other thing is with the Oilers is that Darnell Nurse, the reason he's been never traded is because he has such a foundational relationship with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. These guys have been friends for over 10 years. And Morgan Riley and Mitch Marner, they've also been friends with Matthews and William Nylander. And I think that's going to be really hard to trade those players.
No, I 100% agree. It is a big unseen dynamic that does really affect dressing rooms and has a bigger impact, even if it's not as noticeable immediately. But yeah, I think that was a great way to wrap it up. I want to thank our viewers for watching today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below of the next breakdown of a team we should do. And thank you for watching all the way through. And Kaden, if there's anything else you want to say, go ahead.
No, I think that's a great way to leave it off. Well, if you could please subscribe down below or leave a like and tell us. We read all of our comments. So comment down below. Tell us something you want us to do for another podcast. Comment this. We read all our comments. And have a great rest of your day. Hope this brought a spark to you.
Thank you.